A common feature when working with a blog is to have a comment section below each post. This allows our readers to comment or ask questions about the post, and also others can reply and comment too. The comments functionality will be added over the next couple of videos. This video will concentrate on adding the actual form input, and then the next one will be the code to display the comments under the blog post. For the comments, I'm going to add a new file which is called the comments.php. This is going to be in the root of the project alongside the rest of the page templates. So create the comments.php, add the PHP tags at the top for our comments, close this off. With the text of the template for displaying comments. So WordPress has a built-in function which will display a standard comment form, and this is called the comment_form. Since this is a PHP function, we need to open up the PHP tags, and then this is called the comment_form. So give this file a save and then open up our single.php file, reload any blog post. We don't see any new content is added to this page, and this is because we need to set up where we want the form to appear in this template. We can add this over in our single.php. Let's go just above the nav section for our pages, the PHP tags. So inside here, we're going to create a PHP if statement. And inside of here, this is going to check two things. First, we're going to check if the comments are actually open. And then we use the OR operator, which is the two pipes. And then the second condition is to check if we have at least one comment available to display. We do this with a WordPress function called getCommentsNumber. Then the colon at the end, where we add the content which we want to display if this condition is true. The content we want to display is the comments template. This comments template will default to our comment.php file, which we've already created. So let's check this out over in the browser. And we have a syntax error on line 52 of the single. We just need to add end if at the end to close off our if statement. And displayed is the standard WordPress comment form. We can of course leave this in the default state, or we can also add arguments to this comments form to customize it, including some Bootstrap classes to make it fit in better with the rest of our theme. In the comments.php file, we can set up an array of values to customize each field in the form. Let's add this just above the comment form. We can create a variable with the $symbol, which I'm going to call args. Set this to a PHP array. We can then pass in our arguments into our comment form. So these will take effect and add a semicolon at the end. So before we add in our arguments, let's take a quick look at our form. I'm going to begin with customizing this form at the very top, which is the leave a reply text. All of these modifications are done by making changes to the default parameters in our array. If we go over to the WordPress website and take a look for the comment form section, this will show us all of the available parameters which we can change. If we scroll down to the parameters section, at the moment we're working with the title, so we need to target a field called title_reply. If we search for this, which is this field just here, this is a field we need to customize the title of the comment form, making this the first argument we need to add in, title_reply. And then a arrow operator, which is the equal symbol, and then the right arrow. We can then set the new title to be reply or comment. Or you can customize this to any text you prefer. This arrow operator, when used in PHP with an array, is basically used to set the value on the right hand side to the key on the left. And then go to our project and refresh. We've now changed the title of the form. We can also add some Bootstrap classes to add some spacing on the top and bottom of this title. We can do this by adding a div inside of our string, a Bootstrap class of padding y, a value of 3, then close off our div just afterwards. It reloads, and there's our spacing at the top and bottom. Next, we can move down to our comment section, which is this text area. For this, we use a field if we go to our reference called comment_field, which is this one just here. And this is to set the text area and the label of the comment body. In our arguments, make sure we add a comma just after our title reply. We can then target this comment field, set up our arrow, and then our string. To make this more clear, I'm going to add this on multiple lines, starting off with a div section. We can add Bootstrap classes just like we did above. This is going to be the form group class. Then we can define a label. The for attribute. This is going to be for comment. The text of comment. Then close off our label. Then a break tag to add this on to a new line. Next up, we have our text area. So the opening and closing tags. Inside the opening tag, we can add our attributes. So the ID is going to be equal to comment to match up with the label. The name of comment 2. The Bootstrap class is going to be form control. Then finally on the last line, this is going to be to close off our div. Save that file. Over to our project and reload. Good, this text area now fits in better with our theme. Next, we also have this submit button at the bottom. Very soon, I'm also going to come back and create a name and email field, but we'll do this later since this is a little bit different. For this, we need to target the submit button. So just after our string, we can add a comma. This is for the submit button. So submit underscore button. Set up our arrow. Then as a string, we can add our Bootstrap button with the type of submit. The Bootstrap classes of btn, btn primary. The text to display on the button of submit. And then close off our button right at the end, still within the string. Add a comma, hit save, then reload. And there's our Bootstrap classes now taking effect. Next, I'm going to add a name and email field. If we head back over to the documentation for the comment form, the one we want next is this field's value. And this is going to be for the input fields of author, email, URL, and cookies. To work with this, we need to set up the fields array nested inside of our arguments. This fields array also makes use of the comment form default fields hook to apply filtering. So back over to the comments.php, we can now see this in action. Just after our button, make sure there's a comma at the end. We can add our fields. Set this up just like before, but this time we're going to apply underscore filters. Add the brackets. The first parameter inside of our filter is the name of the filter hook, which we've seen before as comment form default fields. So add this as a string. Comment form default fields. And then the second parameter is our array of fields, which we want to filter. Inside of this array, we can add the author, email, URI, or cookies, which we've seen before. In our case, though, we only want to target the author and the email. So let's begin with the author as a string. This is then set up just as we did with any other field just above. Let's add this as a string and make some space. So we need a surrounding div with the Bootstrap classes of form group. Next, a label. Close the label off too. Then we can add our attributes inside. The first one is going to be for. This is for the author with the text of your name. Then our form input. This will have the ID, which is going to be author, to link with our label, the name of author. This is a type of text. And then finally, the Bootstrap class of form control. Close this off, and then we also need to close off our surrounding div. Next up is the email, which is going to be another item on our array. So I'm going to copy the author section, add a comma, and then paste this in just below. This one is going to be for the email. Let's copy this email section. We have the surrounding div. This is going to be the label for email, the text of your email, the input ID, change this, the name, and also the type. Okay, save this file and then over to the browser, into our project. We see just underneath our comments and submit that we don't have this name and email section showing. This is because these fields don't need to be displayed when we're currently logged in. We're currently logged in as Tranquil Admin, so we click on Log Out. This is how the form looks for non-logged in users, so we can add in the name and email too. The next stage is to add the star to the required fields. I'm going to add this to the comment, author, and email. So first of all, up to our text area for the comment. In the label, we just need to add a star. Then the author, so just after your name, and then the email at the bottom. Let's just check this is working okay with a reload. This is now it for part 1 of the comments. In the next video, we'll look at how we can actually display the comments on the screen.